Hi, I'm Jared Falk, and today I'm on Musicians on the Record. Let's go.
One, two, three, four. This is huge, musicians on the record. Bring it on.
And you mentioned on albums, what would we have heard you on?
I toured with a guy named Riley Armstrong. The album was called Whatever the Weather. I was on an album with a guy named Renee Thomas and I'm telling you the stuff I really like.
Yeah, right.
Renee Thomas. I played a full album with a country artist name from the Peter James Band. That was a fun album, kind of like country party music.
Yeah, wow, nice.
Who else did I play on? I used to have the whole discography.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't think of it.
Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. It's somewhere on your computer, right? So,
yeah.
Who were some of the first teachers on Drumeo, Jared?
Mm-hmm. The first teachers were our kind of anchor teachers. So Dave Atkinson, he's our community manager. He's kind of like the unsung hero. A lot of people give me the credit for Drumeo and stuff, but he is like working his butt off with these artists, with the students. Like our thing is we're trying to scale the unscalable when it comes to like interacting and engaging with our students. So we are just like hyper sensitive when it comes to like making sure our students have everything they need, and we just do whatever we can. And Dave is one of those guys that just works his butt off. Another guy is Mike McCalco. His name before. Yeah. Mike's been, he was one of my private teachers, and I remember when I was taking lessons with him, I asked him to film. There's this Moeller Method Secrets DVD. I think we launched it in like 2006 or something, and I asked him to film that, and so he put that together. And so Mike's been doing lessons with us since like 2006, I guess.
Wow.
And he's still he was in here this week, so yeah. He's still a big part of what we do here. Yeah. Our first special guest was a guy named Larnell Lewis. Have you ever heard of him?
Sure.
Everyone's heard of him now, but before, when he came to Drumeo, he wasn't playing with Snarky Puppy. He hadn't got that gig yet, and he was just kind of this up and comer on the scene. And now he's just this incredible new drummer that everyone's listening to.
Yeah.
Then after that, we had Kenny Arnoff. We had Sonny Emery. Yeah. That was a very surreal, because I mean, listen to Sonny play. It's unreal.
Absolutely.
So those I think were the first three. Was Larnell Lewis, Kenny Arnoff, and Sonny Emery.
Because I know I went through this experience myself. Somebody signs up for Drumeo Edge, becomes a member, wants to learn drumming. What's the first thing or things that you are recommending that people start with?
Yeah. Inside of Drumeo, like there's so many different areas you can go, right?
Yeah.
And every student who signs up, they're at a little bit different level. That's the thing with learning an instrument. It's like not everyone's at the same level. So how do you tailor the learning experience to basically like 10,000 different people?
Right.
10,000 different places.
Right.
So for us, we've tried to create resources and tools around helping people discover the lessons that they need, and so we have a forum with descriptions for beginners exactly where to start. Our Drumeo courses section. If you're a brand new drummer, you're just starting out, I always recommend students go to the Drumeo courses section, and it's organized by level, so 1 through 10.
Yeah.
Excuse me. And I recommend students just start at level 1. Yeah. Like first lesson, and just slowly move their way through that. Yeah. The courses are like five videos in each course, and they're very, very like sequential. So they are step by step, and they take you through the learning experience that way. And then I recommend for beginners to just augment your education with the live lessons and the many other areas inside of Drumeo.
Yeah.
one of the really cool areas inside is the student focus, and it's the area that a lot of students use it, but a lot of students, I think, kind of overlook it. And that's where you can submit a video. We'll actually review your video and post the review of your video inside the members area. And I think that's like a awesome little feature that not many people know about.
I agree. I think that's a cool feature. I've taken advantage of that. Thank you. I got great feedback from Dave Atkinson. So, awesome. Yeah. Huh? I'm still working on it. I'm still in training. So,
yeah, and that's why I always tell students, like, it's really a lot of the sentiment I'm finding from a lot of students is that they want to kind of buy their way to success, and that is not going to happen. Like, students really need to. We sell a lot of cool products, and there's other companies selling cool products too. Yeah. But you can't purchase. It's not like you can just purchase information and put a chip in your brain. At least not yet.
You're right. That's right. It's coming next year on Drumeo, right?
Yeah. So it really comes down to what people put into it, they will get out of it. Yeah. Right. Absolutely. Same thing. Like, a lot of people buy a gym membership because they think buying the gym membership is going to make them fit. Right. It's really not the way it goes. It's like you buy the gym membership, then you have to do all the hard work.
That's right. Absolutely. Yeah. So in your mind, then, in your experience, what makes a good drummer? What makes a good musician? What are those essential things, qualities, characteristics you feel somebody needs to know?
I think with drumming and music in general, it's like being a good communicator and being a good listener. So those are the two things. Like, when you play drums with other people, you need to be able to speak the language that everyone is speaking. So play within the same style, play the right feel, use the correct repertoire, the vocabulary, be sensitive to what other people are playing. And then when it comes to listening, you need to really be a deep listener. And I always recommend students do active listening, where they put on a song and they don't do anything else other than listen. So everyone, when they listen to music, they'll type on the computer or they'll do housework, and you're not really listening, right? And so I think it comes down to those two things, like being able to communicate with your repertoire and play within a certain style and not overplay and not underplay, and then also be able to listen.
Yeah, I think that's great. Any advice or recommendations for someone either playing live and in the studio, just dealing with some of those initial nerves or some stress or anxiety? How do you handle that, and/or what do you recommend for other drummers?
I always try and over-prepare. Like, when it comes to playing live, my advice to musicians is, when you get the tracks that you're playing, go and learn your part, play the song as many times as you need to, whether that's a 10 or 100. Make sure you make notes on what you're supposed to do. And then try and go in with the mindset that you want to know your part, but you also want to know everyone else's part. Because when you know everyone else's parts, not necessarily like, okay, you know that they go to a G or a C sharp or anything like that, but you know that the guitar is supposed to play a solo here, and the piano is supposed to do this little lick here. And if you have that level of knowledge on your part and everyone else's, I think it kind of sets you apart. Yeah. So I always recommend students do that. When it comes to the studio, it's just, you need to know how to play to a click. It's so important that you can play to a metronome.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Do you also teach privately in addition to Drumeo?
Yeah, if a student requests a private lesson, I'll probably do like one lesson every couple months, and it's just kind of on a one-time request basis. I don't book or schedule any weekly lessons. Okay, but I do really enjoy it. Like, it's fun.
Yeah, clearly. I mean, you've made a pretty good business out of it. It's fantastic. Yeah. Let's talk your favorite drummers, favorite musicians, more than just drummers. Who inspires your playing? Who inspires you musically?
Carter Beauford's one of my favorite drummers, and even all the albums throughout the years. Like, I just love all the stuff that he does, the freedom he has to play what he wants. It's so tasteful, the way that he plays off the vocal with his hi-hat. The use of all the different percussion on the kit and how it's always just so tasteful and well placed. I think it's just brilliant.
Yeah.
I grew up listening to like 90s grunge, so like Foo Fighters,
great.
Dave Grohl, Taylor Hawkins. I love that stuff. Like we do song breakdowns in Drumeo, and I always steal all the Foo Fighters lessons because I love learning them. Another guy, Jeremy Taggart, used to play with Our Lady Peace, and a lot of people might not know that band, but they're a big Canadian band, and the snare sound on the song Navid was just like when I first heard that. If you got to listen to it, but I just went home and just cranked up my snare as tight as I could because I wanted to try and get that exact sound. Yeah. And then another Canadian band, it's like the Sam Roberts band, who's just a great Canadian. Like you're going on a road trip, you put on that music, and it's like good old Canadian beer drinking.
Yeah.
It's such good music, and it's crazy because we had Josh Traeger out, the drummer. From the Sam Roberts band, so that was really, really fun getting to hang with him.
Absolutely, that's fantastic. I know you're one of the big initiatives is you're releasing the Independence program. Can you talk about that?
Yeah, so that's a course I worked on. Probably started working on it 3 years ago, and the idea was not to work on something where I just put in as much stuff as possible, because that's the way it normally goes. Oh, I'm working on a book on rock drumming. I need to put in every rock drumming beat I can think of. And what I think that does is it kind of makes it hard for the students to know exactly what to practice. Yep. This is an issue we have at Drumeo, right? Where there's so much content, people kind of get lost in it.
Yeah.
YouTube is even worse.
Right.
What are you supposed to learn on YouTube?
Right.
So what I did is I created a bunch of lesson material, and then I just started removing stuff. Mm. And then what I was left with was just basically like, I think it was 20 pages of sheet music. And so I added 6 more as a result of that and turned it into this 6-week course. So the idea is every week you get one new lesson. It's around 20 to 30 minutes long. Mm. It comes with 1 page of sheet music, and there's specific instructions for beginner, intermediate, and advanced drummers on exactly what to practice, all related around independence. So it's not like I'm going to teach you everything drumming. We're not going to talk about technique. We're not going to talk about a MOTR method. We're not going to talk about foot technique. We're literally just talking about independence. And so it was just this kind of, I wanted to create something that was very, very methodical, very, very step by step. I wanted to give people very clear descriptions on exactly what to do. Mm. And so, so far the feedback from the course, like it hasn't started yet, but so far the feedback is really, really good. And below each video, there's a button that says Ask Jared. And so that's like, if they have any questions, they want to send me videos of their playing, they just hit that button and type in whatever they want to say, and then I'll get back to them and help them. It's kind of like a bridge between private lessons and online lessons, just to kind of like, it's only me teaching, it's on one topic, it's very, very specific. And so, it's something different. And I don't know if we'll do more of it like that, but we'll see. Yeah. So far, it's been a success.
Well, and I love it because it sounds manageable and chunked down in a manageable week-by-week kind of process. And I think independence is something that drummers, I'm certainly working on how to separate my right hand and my right foot still. So it's, I think it's really important.
Yeah, I like topics, especially teaching topics that are very quantifiable. So when you teach technique, or when you teach speed, let's say, it's very easy to give a lesson on speed, and then the drummer takes it away, and then they'll practice that, and they know where they started and where they ended up.
Yeah.
To teach independence is the same thing. You know what you had trouble on, and now that you practice this independence exercise, you now have that level of independence, and so you've quantified the result of that.
Absolutely.
Whereas stuff like Benny Greb teaches feel, like the art and science of groove. He is like on a different level when it comes to like the thought process and thinking about music and drumming. I love his stuff. Yeah. That's a much harder topic to discuss, and just because it's harder to quantify. Yeah. So a student buys that. How do they know if they've gotten better feel? How do they know if they've gotten better groove? Mm. You're really banking on having other people tell you that, but even then it's art, which is subjective. So some people could like the groove, some people could not.
That's right. Yep. Yeah. And two other players from Drumeo that I remember who are also similar to that with feel some of my favorites. Jerry Adolph, the Canadian drummer, fantastic, and of course Cobus, who you did a pack with in a program. Can you talk about your time with them?
Yeah, well, Jerry Adolph is still a regular. He comes out and he usually brings a guitar player or something. They jam along and talk about different feels and different things related to playing on the gig. Stuff like that, because he's just been in the trenches for years, working and playing tons of gigs. Cobus was interesting because after he kind of blew up online, he was, I always consider him like the godfather of drum covers, because he was the first one to really popularize drumming along to famous music and other people's songs. And so once he started doing that, now there's tons of people doing it.
Right.
But yeah, working with him, that was also very surreal. And we were much younger back then. I think we did that in 2010 or something, or I don't know. It was a long time ago. And so, that was really, really fun. We got to do a bunch of cool video shoots. Like, it's fun to work on things that a lot of people get to see. Like the Cobus videos we put together, probably 10 or 20 million views. I haven't added it up.
Wow.
But it's just really cool to think about that that many people get to see what you work on.
Absolutely,
right?
No doubt.
And working with guys like Cobus and Maytel, I worked with, who's another drummer who does covers, and I worked with Casey Cooper. I'm working more with Casey Cooper, known online as Cooper Drummer.
Yeah.
He's got like 1.2 million subscribers, and the guy is such a hard worker, has such a deep appreciation for the drumming community. So I have a lot of respect for people that do that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And for you, I mean, you've been drumming for over 20 years. I think of you as a pretty advanced drummer. What are you still working on or practicing?
I'm always working on more independent stuff. Always working on new songs, like new styles. So like I worked really hard. A video just came out on a song called Jazzy 6/8, which is kind of like a Afro-Cuban, 6/8 Afro-Cuban groove. And that kind of stuff is really fun. What I really want to work on, and again, it's the unquantifiable, is developing more of my sound. I feel like I've spent so much time developing technique, developing independence, and now it's a matter of like, okay, now I have all these tools over here. Now let's build something. And so in this year and possibly next year, what I really want to do is start writing more music, whether that be with myself, because I play a little piano, or whether that be with a band or something. But I really want to get into like now putting all these tools that I've developed over the years, putting them to work and creating something.
That sounds great. You mentioned you play piano. Any other instruments?
I play piano in that I understand the chord structure and what chords work together and how to create basic melodies. I can do the same on guitar, but you don't want to listen to it.
Right, okay.
I would like choose what I want it to sound like and maybe choose the rhythms, and then I would hire someone else to do the actual playing.
Got it. Okay.
But I play a little bit of everything, but I would never call myself a piano player or a guitar player.
Okay, so maybe bringing in Nate Savage, your guitar player. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. For you, Jared, you've had a lot of great guests on Drumeo so far. Who, if we could wave that magic wand and you could get whoever you want, who else is on your sort of dream list, bucket list of guests you'd like to have on Drumeo?
Carter Beauford, for sure. I would love to have Travis Barker on. I think he's inspired a lot of new generation of drummers. Yeah. I'd love to just sit down and talk with him about how he approaches the instrument. He's this huge business and brand too, so it's harder to get those guys out. Working on getting Steve Gadd out.
Sure. Would
love to have him here. Steve Jordan.
Yeah.
Love Steve Jordan's playing. Who else? Oh, there's so many. Yeah. I could just never think of them when someone asks me. Yeah, Dave Weckl, another one. Love to have Dave Weckl out.
Yeah.
Vinny Colaiuta.
Oh God, yeah.
Yeah, like it's like, I know that's a challenge, and you have to sometimes ask a lot, and almost to the point where you're wondering if you're being annoying.
Right.
But it's one of those things I just think I have to just keep asking and keep pushing for.
Absolutely. Yeah. No question. All kinds of great drummers, you know. If you weren't a musician, what would you be doing?
I'd still be in business, probably for myself. I'd probably work in my family business on the farm. That business over there has grown a lot. Like I left that once I went to and started working full time on Drumeo. But they've still continued to grow throughout the years. And my brother works there. My dad still works there. A couple of my brothers actually work there. So I would probably be doing something in that, or I'd be working in like real estate or something. Probably nothing like that exciting. Like the drum business, it's so sexy. It's like such a fun business to do. Yeah. So I think I'm going to stick with this.
Yeah, this is pretty fun, right?
Yeah.
This is pretty cool. This is pretty cool. A couple of more questions, and then I'd love to hear you drum if you're willing to do that. What advice, someone's watching this years in the future, what advice would you give, whether a drummer or a musician in general, to someone who's aspiring to become a professional musician?
I think one of the biggest things as from what I've seen other people have struggled with is a lot of like the old school musicians, they kind of get caught up in the fact that the music industry is changing and it's not what it used to be, and so they end up complaining a lot about that, but not really doing anything. Like complaining doesn't really help. The market has changed. It's not what it was in the 60s and 70s. Like the internet has, yes, some you could argue whether it's for the better or for the worse. I don't know. I don't care. But I would say, like if you're a new drummer coming up, get really comfortable with how fast the market is changing. Get comfortable with new technology. Develop related skills. Like for me, I was developing my drumming a lot, but I was also like really developing my business side because I am an entrepreneur. I love entrepreneurship and business. So I would be reading business books. I would be doing that stuff on self-improvement, and I would really be like almost as passionate about that. And then I was able to take those two things, my hobby that I absolutely love and I'm super passionate about, drumming, entrepreneurship, and I melded them together. And so, like I told my other student who's going to school now, I said, yes, learn the craft, learn all the history of the drumming and the musical world, but also figure out how you're going to apply that, because the jobs like a session musician don't exist anymore, right? You can get hired on a gig, but those, like the amount of drummers that are hired on a full-time gig are much fewer than it used to be. So unless you want to be grinding it out for like 100 to 150 bucks a gig on the weekend, playing clubs that, they're not the nicest of clubs, right, you need to develop some related skills. Yep. So that's what I would say to a new musician trying to come up, is like, there's so much opportunity now. And the market is going to continue changing, so just be ready for all that.
Absolutely. And you guys do it really well too, I think, but having a social media presence is really important.
Yes. Yeah, it's very important. You got to be able to, you got to know how to you got to know that you are a personal brand, right? So you got to be able to know how to put yourself out there and connect with people in whatever market you're getting into.
Yeah, absolutely. fantastic. That was incredible.
Other than all the mistakes, it was great.
I didn't hear any mistakes, and you went all Bonham on me as far as with the hand drumming. That was fantastic.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love that.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Jared, this has been fantastic. Jared Falk of Drumeo.com. Thank you so much for being on Musicians on the Record.
Awesome. Thank you for doing this.